Hi, I'm Aitken and welcome to The Winning Factor. On this show each week, we're taking a look at a couple of the weekend's races and trying to identify a critical point about the race, something we might look back on later as the thing that should have led us to the winner. We call it the winning factor. It might be a trial, it might be a statistic, it might be a stable change. So the first race we're going to look at this Saturday at Sha Tin is race 2. And here, the key element, the winning factor, is the map. As we look down the field here for the second race, one of the main things that we notice is the pace of the race. In gate 1 we've got Happy Tour, who showed so much pace with blinkers on last time, and out in gate 14 we've got the old grand sprinter from Happy Valley, the 1,000 metre specialist, Ocean Roar. So we have pace right on the outside, right on the inside. We've got Ever Brave in between them and a few others who will be looking to take up tactical positions closer to the lead. So we look like getting a truly run race, and that is an important element for the horse we're going to focus on here, and that's Honest Way. Now, Honest Way's trainer, of course, is Michael Friedman, and he's going to command plenty of attention on Saturday because it's his final day of training in Hong Kong after he decided to quit and go back to Australia. And funnily enough, Michael looks to have several good chances on the card, including this guy, Honest Way. And his gate 5 here is a crucial part of his prospect in the race, as is the pace. And we're going to show you Honest Way's first 2 runs this season, and you'll see why that draw is so important to him. Now, for the first run this season, we have to go back to race 57. And this was a race that didn't have a lot of speed in it. And Honest Way was caught out a little bit wide here in the middle stages, you see in the orange sleeves, and he's over racing, he's fighting against his jockey. And in the end, Douglas White decides to let him slide, let him have his way, and he goes forward up near the lead, but it's just too much work to do, and Honest Way ends up dropping out in the straight and not finishing his race off. For his second run, we're going to have a look at race 111. Now, on this occasion, the opposite was the problem. There was good speed early in this race, but he had a wide draw in gate 14. And Douglas had no option really but to go all the way back and settle last in the race. Meanwhile, the winner, Complacency, was up handy to the speed, just behind the leaders in fact, and getting a cosy run, while Honest Way was left with so much to do in the straight, and it was just beyond him. If we look at the map for Saturday's race, this looks like the real Goldilocks solution for Honest Way this time. Not too far back, not too far forward, but just right. He should get enough speed from the outside and inside, and gate 5 gives him a chance to relax, settle, midfield maybe a little worse, and find the line strongly. He should be closer and not have as much to do. So the tip for race 2 is Honest Way, the winning factor, the map. And he gets his chance from a good gate with some speed on to give Michael Friedman a farewell winner from his time in Hong Kong. Now, the second race we're going to look at for Sha Tin on Saturday is race 7, and here the winning factor is the stable change. As we look down the field for this race, there are quite a few chances in it. The likes of Everest, Home Run have prospects, but the ones we're going to focus on are 2 horses whose connections would be eyeing off the 4-year-old races early in the new year if these horses measure up as hoped, and they are Champort and Supergiant. So first we're going to show you the only run here in Hong Kong for Supergiant, and we have to go back to race 769 from last season, and he's in those pink and white colours. He draws wide, gets back in the field, and he runs home very strongly. Now, not a lot was probably expected of this horse. He'd won a maiden in the UK by 15 lengths, but he went out 200 to 1 for his debut run in Hong Kong here. But as you can see, really finds the line very powerfully in the run down the home straight for Douglas White. That was a nice pipe opener for him in Hong Kong, and then he went out for a summer break, and Supergiant has been given 3 trials this season by his trainer, Dennis Yip, and we're going to have a look at those last 2 of those now. On the 2nd of October, he trialled down the straight on the turf at Sha Tin, and as you can see here, he's not really asked to do a lot, but he finds the line very comfortably over the final stages under a good hold. Once again, on the 26th of October, this time on the dirt, Douglas has him out the back, and he runs on very strongly, quickens up nicely here and finds the line very well the last bit. By contrast, Champort has had a very different path to his race here on Saturday. He was a good late season 2-year-old winner in Melbourne in Australia before joining the John Moore stable last season. He had 7 starts for John without winning, and we're going to show you the best of his efforts for the Moore stable. He ran 4th at his first start, and then in race 574, this was probably the best of his runs, getting home into 3rd in a Class 3 here. At that stage, John Moore was certainly talking about Champort as a potential classic mile derby type for this season, but the colt went off the boil thereafter. He didn't manage to win a race for the season, and then was gelded during his summer break before a stable change to Casper Founds. Now, we've mentioned before how important the stable changes are, and we've identified Casper Founds as one of the top 3 trainers in Hong Kong when it comes to winning first time out with stable change horses. As we see on the graphic here, he's had 37 stable change runners over the last 5 seasons, including what there has been of this season. 7 of those have won the first time out, and I can tell you that a lot of the ones that didn't win were very long odds and unfancied, so that strike rate is even better when you consider the horses that were given some sort of chance. But the best thing about it is that his winners are at generous odds nonetheless. As you can see here, he's already had 2 this season winning first time out for the stable, E-Master and Chaparral Star, both at pretty good odds, and Casper's stable moves are something always to watch. So Champort has that statistic in his favour. I think the gelding off-season might have done him some good. He comes back as a more mature horse, and we're going to have a look at his latest barrier trial under Zach Purton, when he found the line very strongly over the final stages to just prevail in a fairly close finish, and it was the kind of nice hit out going into a race that you like to see a horse have, rather than a too soft trial. That'll bring him right on in fitness, and he'll be wound up for this race on Saturday. And tactically, he looks to have an edge over Supergiant. If we have a look at the map, there is good speed drawn out wide here, and that should ensure a genuine pace. And Champort can take up a position in midfield, maybe even a little closer if Zach wants it, while Supergiant we've seen miss the start every time he's gone through the gates in Hong Kong. He's drawn next to Champort, but he's probably going to get a few lengths further back in running, and that could be the crucial edge that Champort needs. So the tip for race 7, Champort. The winning factor, the stable change. Casper Founds looks to have him going extra well heading into his first run for the yard, and he's got a tactical edge over his major rival as well. Well, that's it for the winning factor this week. Catch you next time.